And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
RCPA chamber pressure looks good.
Rolling up. Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Water towers fly! Yes! Echo down to nominal.
Fighting downside FD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Look at this!
Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? We don't need any more of these.
Hello and welcome to another NSF live stream, live from Starbase, Texas. That's right, it looks like the ship, that's Ship 30, it's going to be used for Starship Flight 5, is about to be lifted on top of Booster 12. The ship is already airborne. You can see a gap down there at the bottom of the ship, between the ship and the transport stand, so the ship is in the air. Hooray! I'm Jack Beyer for NSF. We are an independent news media organization comprised of I don't even know what to call it, a crazy group of extremely dedicated people here bringing you guys the future of spaceflight as it happens before our eyes, right just next to a public beach here in Texas. Joining me for commentary this morning is Mr. Ryan Caton. Ryan, how are you doing, man?
Hello everyone, it's a wonderful sunny day, as it says on the brochures. Well, there's some clouds around, but I mean, we're months away from launch. So before everyone in chat is like, "They're gonna launch tomorrow," no, they're not. So we are months away from launch, but in the meantime, SpaceX is, they're giving us some nice photo opportunities, and perhaps some testing in the near future. We'll just have to wait and see.
Ryan, you didn't answer the question. How are you?
Oh, I'm alright.
Good. I'm glad you're all right. As usual for our streams, if you have any questions, type at NASASpaceflight in chat, and we'll see your question pop up in some software we have running in the background. Hampus006 is asking when hop? Not for a couple months. Currently, no earlier than end of November per SpaceX and the FAA. Could that date move to the left? Maybe. But probably not.
Just don't go out there to watch the launch just yet. Don't book your flights weeks in advance and then fly transatlantic all the way there and then be in the US for a few weeks and then not actually get the opportunity to watch it launch because SpaceX delays things. I don't know anybody who's ever done that before.
Yeah, no idea. That'd be crazy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I see we have a tweet out. Hang on, let me just go over here, retweet the Chris tweet. Cool. All right, well, let's get right into it. I mean, we've already covered, no, it's not going to be launching anytime soon, and we've already covered, yes, it's Ship 30, and that's going to be used for Flight 5, same as Booster 12, which you can see is already on the mount there. The hot stage ring was stacked earlier this morning, I think around 4 a.m., so hot stage ring on the booster, good to go, ready to receive the ship. And we've sort of seen this behavior in the past where they lift the ship, they sort of hold it in this position for a short period of time, sometimes a long period of time, and then they stack it on the boosters. So yeah, there you go. You can even see just barely the Ship 30 livery. I never know how to say that word.
I think it might be moving back up again, though. The chopsticks
it's
and
moving.
the ship are now moving
You're right.
again.
It's definitely moving. Hooray! Now, I just got to get this out of the way. I know we have been saying that when they do a full stack, we will release our Flight 5 patch, but there's been some shipping difficulties. It's not ready to go yet. You know, SpaceX has moved a lot faster with this full stack than we anticipated, especially given the no earlier than end of November date for Flight 5. So patch not ready yet, but it will be ready soon. Cool. Well, let's do some questions. We'll keep the show rolling on here as the ship climbs up the tower. Anthony McQuaid is asking, when Ship 26 scrap? Ryan, what do you think? What do you think they're gonna? You think they're gonna scrap?
I don't know what they're waiting for, honestly. You know, they should have done this months ago. You know, it's a waste of space. It's taking up a stand that they could be using for, you know, they've got V2 Starships now, and they're wasting transport stands with Ship 26. What are you doing, SpaceX? What are you doing? You don't need it anymore. It has no purpose. I mean, at this rate, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they put that little HLS airlock mock-up inside of it. I don't know what they're doing with it anymore. You know my opinion. Just chop it up and throw it in the bin. Like, it's useless. It's never going to fly. What? Just get rid of it. You don't need it. It's taking up space. Just scrap it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna poke the bear here, because if I say scrap it, they're gonna end up flying it. So I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. But ship moving up the tower. Did they pause right there for a moment? Looks like they might have paused again.
Yeah, perhaps.
Jake, can we go back to that other view, the angle you just switched from? Yeah, look at that. You can really see how high up in the air it is right now. It's really it's a beautiful sight. I'm so glad that the tower looks as cool as it does. It's so much cooler than lifting a ship with a crane. I forget, Ryan, were you around for the first full stack when they did it with the Rasta crane and the tower was like incomplete and everyone was like, they're going to fly next month? And were you around for that?
I wasn't at NSF for that, but I do remember those days vividly. Yeah. 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 Well, it would have been interesting to see how Booster 4 ever would have flown.
Yeah, especially considering how Booster 7 did when they eventually did fly IFT-1. Wilbo Baggins, thanks for gifting a Red Team membership. Matt's gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Thank you so much. And I'd rather be flying an X-Wing with a Super Chat. Thank you. They say, with the delay to late November, would there be any reason to jump ahead to version 2 Starship? Honestly, my immediate reaction is absolutely not. Just because version 2 Starship, I hate to be the harbinger of bad news here, but version 2 of Starship is going to take more regulatory nonsense to get ready to go. Like right now, everything they have approved and everything that they're working towards getting approved, at least as far as we know, involves version 1 Starship, and there's enough changes on version 2 that they will likely require additional, I don't even know what to call it, additional discussions, shall we say,
yeah,
with the FAA. So not only is version 2 not close to being ready to go, like hardware-wise, it's also just there's going to be some regulatory hurdles for that. Even if it's just a short period of time, they do need to get that approved, all the changes and everything that they've made. So, and presumably,
yeah.
Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, presumably when version 2 Starship does start flying, I am expecting that it'll be a different flight profile than what we've seen so far and what we expect to see with 5 and 6.
Well, it depends what they can do with the next few flights. I don't think SpaceX has actually said whether they're intending to do a Raptor relight test or something on this next flight. The branding and all of the PR seems to be very focused around that booster catch, which makes sense, or the booster catch attempt, should I say. They need to be able to prove they can deorbit Starship successfully before they put it in orbit, because Starship is huge. And having something of this size in a very low, unstable orbit, uncontrollable, would be incredibly dangerous. So SpaceX needs to prove they can successfully relight a Raptor, change their orbital parameters before they can actually send one into orbit. Because of safety, you know, like we've seen that little battery thing off the ISS, fly into someone's house in Florida. Imagine if that was the size of Starship.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. So it's a very good point. I expect, this is just me guessing here, Flight 5 will happen. Whatever happens on Flight 5, who knows? But let's just say they successfully catch the booster. I expect Flight 6 to largely be the same, with a booster catch attempt, but also with the addition of some in-space testing of the ship, perhaps a Raptor relight, for that exact reason you just mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Because they need to be able to do that to actually get a ship orbital, so they can have confidence that they can do a controlled deorbit, so they don't have any issues with that. So good question from I'd rather be flying an X-Wing. Thanks for that. Keep them coming. Let's see. Kenan Copeland's asking, do you think the wet dress rehearsal will go okay? They have done some tank farm mods since the last flight, right? Oh, yeah. A bunch of tank farm mods. So they're stacking. Some people out there might think they're just stacking to, stiff arm the FAA, shall we say? And get that PR sort of moment where it's like, look, we're ready, it's stacked. And certainly that may be part of it, but a much larger and more important reason to do this stack is, despite SpaceX's messaging that the vehicles are ready, there has been no full stack testing, and the final test before a full stack launch is some sort of wet dress rehearsal, at least until they eliminate that from the flow. So Ryan, we're expecting a wet dress rehearsal, right?
At some point in the near future, hopefully, yeah, because although SpaceX and Elon Musk have been tweeting, like SpaceX did their tweet many weeks ago now saying ship and booster are ready to fly, until you've actually put your rocket together and tested the entire rocket, it's not ready to fly. That's a fact.
Yep.
If your rocket is in two pieces in the mega bay, it's not ready to fly. You're not launching from the mega bay, so you need to put everything together in order to actually test it, conduct that wet dress rehearsal, hopefully soon, to prove that it's ready to fly. Look, right now, both the hardware, right now, this very second, both the hardware and the regulatory side of the next Starship flight are incomplete and are not ready. Once SpaceX stacks this vehicle together and conducts a wet dress rehearsal, a successful wet dress rehearsal, they can then properly, factually prove, hey, our hardware is ready to go, we're now just waiting for the regs to catch up with us. That, for me, that is the line. Right now, they can say they're ready, but they're not. Look at your screen right now. They're not launching in this configuration.
Although it would be cool if they did. Like, ship goes first, booster launches, ship stacks on booster midair. I don't know. Don't give me ideas, Ryan. But yeah, I expect the wet dress rehearsal to go okay. I mean, it might take a couple attempts, but ultimately they'll get it done. And once they do, then all of the messaging about being ready to fly really holds weight. And I don't know, maybe we'll see that no earlier than the end of November date move forward. You never know. It could move left. Things in the rocket world tend to move right. Sometimes they move left.
Yeah, we've even seen that with the Falcon 9 recently, where they push it to the end of the window and then move it back into the window a little bit.
Right.
And that's nearly caught us out a few times before. So it's rare on a weeks or days time scale.
But it does happen.
But it does happen. It's not impossible.
I see people in chat sort of discussing whether or not it's going to go well. And somebody wants to see, AZ Space Geek wants to see the ship stacking midair in Kerbal. That's not my job. That's Moldy Space Industries' job. They're the ones that do the horribly cursed Kerbal things. But we might have a new task for them. Oh no, Moldy's in chat. They say I'm working on it. I love you, Moldy. Jared Walker gifting 20 Red Team memberships. Be sure to thank Jared if your name just turned green. That's extremely generous of you. Thank you, Jared. Once again, you guys know I don't need to belabor the point. We can't do this without the member program. So thank you so much to everybody who chooses to support us in whatever way you choose to do so. Let's see. More questions. Starship 29 and B11 is asking, what is the spot on Booster 12's methane tank? Methane tank spot. You might need to be
Yeah,
a
I
little
think we could
more
see it
descriptive
from
than that.
south.
My immediate reaction is it's the reinforcements on the stabilization points, if I'm thinking of what they're thinking of, but I'm not sure if that's on the methane tank or the LOX tank. What were you saying, Ryan? Sorry.
I think we can see it on one of our south cameras if that's indeed the thing that they're asking about. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's on the
Yeah,
methane
there's
tank. That
Yep.
darker spot right there is reinforcements around where the chopsticks interface the stabilizer arms with the booster. You can see above that, sort of in between the grid fins, there's the lifting pin, but below that there is the little stabilizer area, and they have installed some serious reinforcements on that area of the booster, on both sides of the booster. Good shout. Thank you for the camera suggestion, Ryan.
I give Jay enough time and he'll get there eventually.
Westy the Third, what's up, Westy? Our very own Westy the Third is asking, in your guys' opinion, what's first, Flight 5 or New Glenn? They said New Glenn, but I'm saying New Glenn. Ryan, what do you think is going to happen first?
My hot take, which I said a few weeks ago, I said this before the
Are you being a
SpaceX
hipster
FAA
right
stuff.
now? You said it before it was cool? Is that what you're saying? You're a total hipster.
I said this before the SpaceX FAA delay or whatever, and I also said this before Escapade got taken off the first flight of New Glenn. I said that the first flight of New Glenn and Flight 5 of Starship will happen within weeks of each other, and I think that is still true. I think the first flight of New Glenn and Starship Flight 5 could be within a couple weeks of each other. That's what I'm thinking. I daren't bet which one is first, but I think it's going to be close. It's going to be like when we had Flight 4 and Starliner launching, literally hours apart, but maybe a few days apart. It's going to be a very exciting couple of weeks around November, assuming that's the schedule that holds. If SpaceX delays, I think Blue Origin will probably delay too. I don't know. That's how I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly wouldn't surprise me, right? Things sort of seem like they're lining up in the space world. Sometimes that's just how it happens. Hal 9000 is asking, do you think all the reinforcements on the chopsticks will speed up the ship stacking? It certainly seems like a slower stack than we've seen in the past. Would you agree or disagree, Ryan?
I mean, they're not moving, so I'm gonna agree with that one. They have paused for an reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but they have paused the lift, partially up the tower.
Yeah, good deal. Well, maybe this is the first ship lift with all the reinforcements, so maybe once we see the lift for the final stack, because this is not going to be the final stack, maybe that'll go faster. We'll have to just wait and see. Ryan, why isn't this going to be the final stack? Why am I saying that? Because FTS needs to be installed.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not been months since the last flight, and I've definitely remembered everything. Yeah, they've got to arm the flight termination system. You can tell I'm really good at this. They've got to arm the flight termination system on the ship, and they don't have a lift that can get up that high, so they need to de-stack it. Although interestingly, since the last flight, the container full of explosives has been removed from the launch site.
That's right.
So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, where they'll get them from. I don't actually know where it's gone.
It's kind of a shame that happened, because presumably that process will be different now that container has been moved or removed. And it was really neat to see sort of, the SpaceX workers go into the container. They sort of put a little warning flag on it when there's explosives in it, and then they would all walk out in a line. I got some really cool imagery from past FTS installs. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. Hopefully, whenever they get to that point with this vehicle, we'll still get some cool imagery out of it.
Yeah, I always found it slightly amusing that it was positioned, kind of under the launch pad, and it was, the explosives bunker container.
Yeah, but when it's
You saw what?
launching, the explosives are on the rocket, not in the container.
Yes, I know, but I just found it funny anyways, because everyone has seen what happened to our poor danger van, right? Imagine
That's
that,
true.
but container.
I mean, if there were explosives in it at the time, yeah, that'd probably be bad. But also, I'm sure they use, something like C4 or some sort of plastic explosive that's very shock resistant, very impact resistant. It's not like nitroglycerin where it's like, oh, you looked at it wrong, it's going to explode. No, it requires a very specific set of conditions to actually do its thing. Usually, an electric charge and a blasting cap, some kind of thing like that. So probably wouldn't be a big deal, but probably also not a great idea. Can see Ship 30 in the air and the Ship QD arm retracted, allowing the Chopsticks to make their way past it on their way up the tower. But still holding here. Interesting.
Yeah, there is a drone buzzing about, so I do wonder whether they're just conducting observations of the modifications they've made to the Chopsticks. However, they've already lifted the booster, so I'm not too sure what they could learn with a ship that they couldn't learn with a booster.
Troy Rubert is asking, will SpaceX adopt a tuned mass damper, or will the shorter chopsticks be enough to mitigate the tower wobble? I'm not sure the tower wobble's an issue, but I do love me a good mass damper. What do you think,
Yeah,
Ryan?
the wobble was a bit, we could see the wobble after the testing, like the high-speed testing they did with the Chopsticks a few weeks ago. But when they did the most recent high-speed testing the other day, the wobbles seem to be less. So I don't know whether they've the modifications that they've made to those plates that they've been adding onto the triangle beams on the towers there. We can kind of see from this angle, but they've basically been reinforcing the tower all the way up. So those might have made a difference. I'm not 100% sure, but it did appear like something has made the tower less wobbly, which is obviously a good thing. I wouldn't have wanted to be stood atop the tower during those high-speed catch tests.
Yeah. I mean, you do want some flex, but you don't want too much. And I'm
Yeah,
a
if it was
structural engineer,
rigid,
so
it would be brittle, which is
Right.
not what you want, because the tower would just snap in half. But there's also there's a tolerance in there. You need some bendy and some not bendy.
Right. It's very, complicated architecture stuff. Some bendy, not a lot of bendy. It's like what you learn your senior year in college of architecture school. You learn about the bendy needs of various structures. Let's see. Gabro Plays is asking, any news or updates about a potential ship recovery from Australia on this mission? No, that's not happening on this mission. Might be happening in the future. Don't expect it on Flight 5, right, Ryan? Or feel free to disagree with me.
I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but it would be they're splashing down, many miles off the coast. So it would be a bit of a trek to try and recover, assuming it doesn't sink. So yeah, it would be, in order to conduct something, an operation of that nature, should I say, it would require significant planning to be able to splash down, a little bit closer to the coast. Because if you look on the map, it might not look that far off the coast, but Australia, fun fact, very big. So it is quite far off the coast, and then you've got to figure out how to presumably get it back to the US, which means sailing across the Pacific with a Starship. There's... Where does it end? Where does it end?
Right. Yeah, and with Flight 5 and the regulatory hurdles that they've been going through, they want to change as little as possible, so that hopefully the regulatory side goes as fast as possible. And landing off the coast of Australia is certainly a bigger change. I fully expect it to happen at some point, just not Flight 5. Let's see. More questions. I'm still thinking about that mass damper. Like, if you don't know what a mass damper is, it's like a large weight or mass at the top of a structure that is tuned to the resonance of the structure. So, like, super tall buildings, like, I don't know, I think Taipei 101 has a crazy, like, giant sphere in it that you can go see. So, yeah, that's, if you don't know what a mass damper is, it's just basically a big weight. It's like a counterweight that's free to move around at the top of a large structure that dampens the wobbling or the movement of the structure. Stephen Lewis is asking, is the pad clear? Yes. Why has the ship paused? Is the lift manually controlled from afar? I don't think we've ever actually gotten confirmation on exactly how the lift works. Like, is it somebody on a console and they press a button that says lift and then the tower does all the work? Or is it someone like with a joystick and like literally moving the chopsticks up and down the tower manually?
I thought it was Chris G.
Oh, it might be. That might be what Chris G does now.
Yeah.
Also, Rebecca, I see you in chat with the frogs. Hi. Be nice to your brother. Ooh, I see Raptors.
Barely peeking through.
I see Raptors. Also, Mary did a tweet a few minutes ago, so Mary is on site shooting this. I'm excited to see what she gets. I love that the ship does not get lifted with the Raptor booties. Also, whoever parked the LR 11,000 crane right here, I'm gonna have to have some words with him.
Yeah. It'd be a bit difficult if they installed the Raptor covers on the ship Raptors because they couldn't remove them.
Right. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. That makes sense.
Unless they crawled into the hot staging ring, I don't know, but
yeah, and that doesn't sound like a good time. Oh, is it moving again? It's moving again! Hooray! But yeah,
very slowly, but it is.
We're not quite certain how the lifts work. I suspect it's highly automated with the ability of a operator to sort of pause things, or maybe there's like checkpoints where they have to say yes, resume. Who knows? But I would really like to know. Spacey is asking, do you think Starship will launch in November or get delayed? Look, there's a thing. It's a law coined by none other than Eric Berger. It's called Berger's Law, appropriately. And that, I'm going to butcher it. It's something along the lines of, if there's a spaceflight event at the end of a year, you can basically bet that it's going to slip to the next year.
Q4 equals Q1 next year.
There you go. So hopefully Berger's Law doesn't apply here, but also if you're trying to come to Starbase for Flight 5, which if you have any ability to do so, you absolutely should, because if they actually do go for a catch, which all indications seem to point that they will, oh my god, like this will be the Starship flight to see.
Assuming the weather's good.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, is as we move into the winter here, or fall, the weather is going to get better. Like, we are sort of out of the June gloom, kind of gray, horrible, like foggy, smoggy type days. Like, it's been a long string of really nice days. I mean, look at today. It's nice and crystal clear. I bet if we pointed a camera the right direction, we could see South Padre Island just fine. Nice big puffy clouds. Like, yes, let's get a launch on a day like today with conditions like this, please.
Yeah. Just make sure that, if you do want to come and see this, that you check for, just watch Starbase Update, because we'll let you know when things are coming in. But we need notices to mariners, we need notices to air missions, we need temporary flight restrictions, we need, actual
a launch license,
visual evidence, launch license. The hardware actually needs to be ready to launch. Don't book a flight now weeks in advance and then presume Starship will be ready to fly, because you never know. You could fly to the US and then just a few days later SpaceX does a tweet, or the FAA announces that the license is going to take longer and it's now going to be no earlier than the middle of the month 3 months down the line. You don't know what happens, so you just it's safe to wait for all of these official notices to come out. So if you book flights now and you miss it, we're not responsible. I've warned you now.
Yeah, imagine like you live in, I'm just completely pulling something out of the air here. Imagine you live in another country like Spain or something, and you plan a whole big trip to the US to see Flight 5, and then right after you get to the US, that whole thing about late November comes out. That would certainly not be great.
Yeah, and that could happen again. You don't know. So it's really, once you just wait for the notices, you'll thank us later. It will be more expensive, but you won't go to the US for and not actually see Starship launch.
Right. Johan in chat says, or have a rebookable ticket. Yes, that is also a good call. And chat has picked up what I'm putting down. Yes, I'm talking about Alex. We're talking about Alex. Oh, poor guy. Let's see. Admiral Maraith is asking, can we call the Raptor covers Raptors? Ugh, I hate it. You can if you want. I won't stop you. Because there's slactors and vactors on a ship, and when they're covered, it would be a raptored vactor and a raptored slactor. I might be having a stroke. I think I smell burning toast.
I've never heard of that before, and I don't really want to hear of it again.
You haven't? You clearly don't watch the Flame Trench. No,
well, sometimes there's only so much of something you can take. Sometimes you need a little bit of a break from watching, just recompose some brain cells.
That's fair. Moldy in chat says, no, we are not doing Slactor. Too late. It's a thing. Are we paused again? We're paused again.
Yeah. Maybe they do have those checkpoint system, like you mentioned, but the guy in charge is just, having coffee on his lunch break or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's also entirely possible the drone team is in communication with the tower crew and is like, oh, hold it right there. And is trying to get a shot.
Let's get some photos. I mean, this is, at the end of the day, a photo op for SpaceX, so that could 100% be what they're doing. Like, pause it here, let us get some photos from different angles, and we can do it right up a good social media post, and, because we all know that social media post is the official way to submit license modifications to the FAA.
Right. Yes, of course. Gabriel, thank you for grabbing a mug from the store. They say, hi, some additional funding for Jack's Kilt in Space Fund. Thank you, Gabriel. Oh, they also got a Raptor hoodie. Nice. Matt Hicks, thanks for the super chat there. They say, thanks, guys, for making yard work more enjoyable. You're so welcome. Matt Hicks gifting a Red Team membership. Thank you, buddy. Lee Miller with a super chat. They say, why chopsticks? Why not land like Falcon 9 boosters? Because legs... Oh, we're moving again.
Much faster, also.
Hooray. That means we're going to get more Raptor views. I like it. Yeah, why not land like Falcon 9 with legs? Because legs are heavy, and you incur a mass penalty. So if you can remove those from the equation and catch with the tower, you're already going to stack with the tower. So, land on the tower. It's honestly, it's insane, but it also makes just so much sense. SpaceX just has to pull it off.
Yeah.
Caesar.
And once SpaceX kind of proves this concept, because I don't have any doubt. I think this is ludicrous, but I think, there's good ludicrous, and I think this is a good ludicrous. And once SpaceX proves this is possible, like they proved landing a booster with landing legs was possible, I think other people might catch on, because you don't have to modify your booster in any way. You don't have to put landing legs on it. You might just need to put some aero services. You might just need to beef up your thermal protection on your engines. But if you're going to, your primary recovery equipment will all be on the ground. So your mass penalty on the actual vehicle itself won't really be that drastic. So we've already seen renders out of a company from China who are going to do a similar thing with wires, but instead of having physical chopsticks, they'll have wires that tighten around a booster. Maybe there's this kind of method. There's loads of ways to do there's loads of different methods to conduct this recovery, but using ground equipment, so you don't incur that mass penalty on your booster, which is why a lot of companies have said we're not really interested in doing reusability right now, because, you know, if you put landing legs on a small sat launcher, for example, you know, suddenly you've lost half your payload capability.
Yeah, I think that was Land Space. I could be wrong. There's so many Chinese companies attempting to build reusable rockets, so I could be wrong there. But to your point, Ryan, after Falcon 9 started landing, I feel like we saw a lot of different space companies putting out renders or announcing plans to do vertical takeoff and vertical landing of first stages.
Mm-hmm.
And I suspect that once SpaceX successfully catches a booster on Flight 5, I fully expect a success, by the way, that we'll see a lot of other companies sort of following suit in the same way that we did when Falcon 9 sort of proved that that was possible. Makes a lot of sense. Caesar grabbing a whole bunch of stuff from the store. They say you guys are the best. Keep up the great work. Thanks so much, Caesar. All kinds of cool stuff on the store. Is it shop? Is it store.NASASpaceflight? Can we get the link in chat? Put the link in chat, somebody. It's one of those two. Shop or store.NASASpaceflight.com. Figure it out. Let's see. ICG Harsh is asking, will they do a catch test like dropping the mini booster on the chopsticks? Oh, that would be really cool. I don't know if they will do that.
It would be awesome to watch. My only fear is if they miss. You know, Booster 14.1 has absolutely zero way of steering itself away from the OLM, so they could end up accidentally dropping a giant test tank on the OLM. So that would be my only worry with conducting that, but it would be awesome to see.
I mean, they do have Booster 14.1 as a sort of chopsticks test article. Certainly, they could lift that with the LR11000 and drop it onto the chopsticks. I don't know if that would actually be useful, but that would be really cool to see. I hope they do something like that. And we're paused again. What a sight.
Time for some more photos.
It's still just wild to me that this is a thing. And there's a public beach right next to it. Like, what is going on with our reality? It makes me so happy that it's not just boring sameness. Like, we actually have a futuristic, absolutely insane, cutting-edge technology type thing to observe and look forward to here. It's just... it's so great. Moving again. Very slowly. Climbing up the tower there. Matt PD, thanks for the 10 euros. They say, hot take. For ship catching, I could totally imagine SpaceX just going all in to try and pinch using the lift points rather than adding a part, flip out legs. In theory, it requires fast pins and tech. Flip out legs. I mean, who knows? We're not going to know what the final form of the booster and the tower are until after the first catch at the very earliest. I mean, Tower 2 here in Starbase will certainly telegraph a little bit as to what the refurb that they're going to do on Tower 1 will look like, but you don't know until you try it, right, Ryan?
Yeah, and you know we are a little ways away still from future upgrades of even the booster, let alone the ship. You know, like we've seen V2 ship hardware, we haven't seen V2 booster hardware, and we're pretty certain that SpaceX will be flying V2 ships on V1 boosters at least for a little bit. So they're going to be upgrading and incrementing on each component of the system individually. So it looks like we're going to be seeing upgrades to the ship, then upgrades to the pad, because they're currently building pad B with new stuff, fingers crossed, and then they'll work on upgrading the boosters. So, you know, it'll all fit together eventually, but they're not doing everything at the same time.
Right. Nick Anderson's asking in chat, what would a catch abort look like? Fly away into the water? Well, if you know about Falcon 9, you know that, for example, when it's coming back to land at the launch site or when it's coming back to land on a drone ship, they don't actually target where they're headed until the very last second, until the landing burn. If the landing burn fails, that means the vehicle goes into the drink and does not make a crater on the deck of a ship or at the landing zone. So a catch abort, I think, would look like the booster just not heading all the way to the OLM and maybe slamming into the beach or slamming into the Gulf just a little bit of the ways off the shore. That's what I suspect a catch abort would look like. That's like a late catch abort. An earlier catch abort would just be, blow it up over the Gulf when it's 40 miles high in the air or something like that. Well offshore. But yeah, I don't know, Ryan. What do you think? What would a catch abort look like?
I think we'll probably see something very similar to the RTLS failure of CRS-16, where the Falcon 9, suddenly lost hydraulics and started spinning out of control, and was able to still conduct a soft water landing. However, because of that trajectory, like you were just saying, they don't actually target the landing pad, so they missed the landing zone 1, and they did a soft splashdown in the ocean. So I think there is a potential that a soft water splashdown closer to shore would be the alternative, because I think I don't know this, so I'll preface this by saying I don't know this, but I have a suspicion in the back of my mind that is saying maybe this bigger delay with the new launch license is because of the potential that a booster could do a soft splashdown as the ship starts moving again closer to shore. And this would be something that SpaceX would need to recover, and it could have a different impact on the wildlife around in the area, right? So that's my sneaking suspicion. I think this longer lead time with the launch license could be because they might splash the booster down closer to the shore, which means that it could have a bigger impact. So I think that might be what they do if they have to abort the catch. If that makes sense. There's a very long-winded way of getting around to it, but I think everything is kind of interlinked in that question.
Cells interlinked. No?
I don't get it.
Not a Blade Runner fan?
No.
Interlinked. Yeah, chat knows what's up. Thank you, chat.
Just me then? Just me?
Yeah, just you. You need to get cultured, my friend. Come on, okay. You haven't seen the new Blade Runner?
No.
You haven't seen the original Blade Runner?
No.
It wouldn't be an NSF stream if I wasn't shaming someone for not having seen a film, so I guess we can check that off the bingo card there. Disabled Park Hopper says Jack is a replicant. Oh god. Am I? Let's make a film about it. Relox is asking, will they already reuse the booster if it lands successfully? I suspect not. I suspect they'll sort of examine the heck out of it, but not refly it. What do you think, Ryan?
I want them to put it on display like they have done with the first Falcon 9 they landed. But I also, I want to live in reality, and we live in a reality where they scrapped SN15. We live in a reality where, for some reason, Ship 26 is still alive. We live in a reality where SpaceX does backwards things when it comes to vehicle scrapping. So I want it to be a wonderful, it'd be nice if they could slap it in the middle of the office building courtyard that they're building. Maybe a viewing platform on top of the booster. I don't know. I want it to be a monument, but I would not be surprised in the slightest if it gets chopped up and sold for scrap.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the first 2 Falcon 9s that they landed were not chopped up. They were sort of kept around. Then the third one they chopped up and examined thoroughly. Fourth one, I think I'm not sure what happened with the fourth landed Falcon 9. And then the fifth one they chopped up as well. So maybe if Booster 12 lands, it'll actually stick around. Who knows? It certainly would be amazing. It'll never happen, but it would be amazing if they can somehow get it to California and put it at Hawthorne next to the booster there.
How on earth are you getting that thing under a bridge?
No way. No way. I said it will never happen, but it would be cool
You could
to
put
see
it
the
on a
first landed
barge
Super
and then
Heavy
try and-
next to the first landed Falcon 9. That would be really cool.
Could you lay it horizontally and then put it on a massive barge and then try and squeeze it through the Panama Canal? I don't know.
I don't
There's
know.
one way to find out.
That would be sweet if they could. Be a lot cooler if you did. You don't know that reference either, do you?
No.
Dazed and Confused. Buddy, I'm going to make you a list of movies to watch.
Okay.
Mr. Goose is asking, will they use the water deluge for the catch? We expect yes.
We saw that on the last flight actually, because as the timings where we would expect the catch to be taking place, SpaceX did move the chopsticks a little bit, and they did reignite, if that's the correct terminology to use, the deluge plate. So we are expecting it because they've already conducted that test on the last flight. Of course, the booster was actually in the Gulf, but they tested the ground equipment, assuming the booster was directly overhead.
Yep. So yeah, we do expect that to be the case. Lords of Random is asking, if Booster 12 ends up into the OLM, do you think SpaceX get Tower 3 into operation sooner? All right, first, I'm sorry. I have to be pedantic here. It's not Tower 3. It's Tower 2. I know it's the third tower that they've built, but in regulatory paperwork, SpaceX refers to Pad A and Tower 1 and Pad B and Tower 2. So it's Tower 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah. When I'll let you get to this question, but I just have to note, it really gets on my nerves, especially when launch providers name their launch pads in numeric succession of its construction and not numeric succession in terms of where it is actually located. Rocket Lab.
Jeez, buddy, get some water. It sounds like you got a nasty cough. Do we think they'll get the second tower into operation sooner if they crash into the OLM? Hard to say. I mean, cleanup will certainly take some time to get the launch site safe again. And I suspect they're already going as fast as they can with Pad B there.
Yeah. I mean, if they damage the OLM, I think it would depend how much they damage it. If they damage it completely to destruction, it doesn't make sense to rebuild the OLM as this OLM, because it's very evident from their destruction of the OLM, or what existed of the pad at 39A, and the kind of precursors to the Pad B OLM, then this OLM is an old design. It's outdated, it's big, it's clumsy, it's inefficient. They just want to get rid of it, right? So if they destroy this OLM to destruction, they're not building it in the exact same way again. But if they only damage a few pipes, they could just put a few pipes back in. That isn't the end of the world. But at some point in the future, I don't think it's the near future, but this OLM design is not going to be built again. I think it's pretty safe to say that.
Right.
And it's going to be replaced.
What everybody out there should do, if you're not already doing, is you should think of literally everything you see here at Starbase as version 1, in the same way that there is version 1 ship and version 2 ship, and we know that version 3 is also coming down the line. Yeah. Expect iteration not just on the vehicle side, but also on the GSE side. I expect the pad at Pad B, like the OLM there and everything, to look completely different. And I think there is a reason that we saw SpaceX removing the legs from 39A. Remember that? And also, they have a whole entire OLM that is different than the OLM in Starbase that is just sort of been sitting outside at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station.
Yeah.
So.
But they haven't even bothered to install it at the pad, right? Which I think says, our friend Harry Stranger has his synthetic aperture radar imagery coming through. he has seen that at the Space Force base for months and months and months. It has been there forever. And they haven't bothered to put it on the pad at 39A. So I think that speaks volumes that that's an outdated design, that they're not even going to bother with it, right? So
Right.
that kind of OLM design is clearly outdated at this point. And we were speaking about Booster 4 and Ship 20 earlier. This stage 0 is the Booster 4. This stage 0 is the Ship 20 of GSE. This stuff is so old. The new pad, that's the Starship V2 of GSE. Now that's the stuff we want to see.
Right. I couldn't have said it better myself. And so between the OLM just sitting around in Florida and between them removing the legs from the pad there really makes me think that there's going to be a design overhaul to that whole system. And we'll just have to see how it goes here in Starbase once they start getting the pieces in place for the second orbital launch mount. How long have we been paused here? It feels like an eternity.
I gotta get the photos.
Definitely want to thank some more people. Honestly, there's no good way to do this. Like, I don't know how to accurately express my thanks. We all have the coolest job in the world, and the only reason we get to do this stuff is because y'all come out and watch the streams and support what we do. So thank you. Meaningless with a $5 super chat. They say, which happens first, Super Heavy, Starship, Reflight, or Artemis 2? Oh, man. I'm going to say Reflight. What do you think, Ryan?
So, Artemis 2 is supposed to be in just over a year. It's like, what is it, like November, December 25 at this point? Burger's Law might apply. So, this is actually really tricky because
It's a good one.
We're going to refly the first one. So we've got it. I'm going to assume they fly Flight 5 in November, and I think that's being optimistic. And they successfully land the booster, and I think that's being very optimistic in my opinion. So we've then got to assume that they fly Flight 6 shortly thereafter, catch the booster, and then want to refly it. But how long will that refurbishment take? How long will they want to check over the booster?
Right.
Will they actually, they're building boosters very quickly. They are building hardware so quickly. The only reason they would want to start reflying boosters so soon would be if they want to iteratively start to develop the ship. Because, let's be honest, for the last few flights, the ship has basically been a big dumb nose cone. You know, it's been a nose cone that happens to have a heat shield.
Sorry. Ship QD arm is moving into position. Interesting.
That might have been what they were waiting for then.
Continue, please.
But yeah, the ship has essentially been a nose cone. It just happens to have flaps and a heat shield, and just happened to try and attempt to perform some in-flight space demos on Flight 3, and it just so happened to perform a re-entry and landing burn on Flight 4. You know, that's essentially what the ship has been. So the only reason they would need to refly the boosters right now is to increase ship testing cadence. They're building boosters really quickly. You know, they have the manufacturing ability to fly Starship multiple times per year and expend the system. You know, right now SpaceX has a they have a super heavy expendable launch system. If this wasn't to be recovered, their job would be done. They'd be throwing this to orbit already. But of course, you know, full usability is the entire commercial premise of Starship, right? So,
right.
Yeah. Back to the actual question. I think Artemis 2 will happen before they conduct a reflight, because I just don't think they need, at this stage of development, they're still going to be using V1 boosters for a little while. I don't think they need to refly the boosters. I don't think they would need to. That's my honest take.
They can always pull the Raptors off and reuse them, and that's the most expensive part, right?
Yeah, but that's not a full reflight of the booster. I mean,
right.
At what point do you just call that smart reuse?
Don't get me started. Kara Twilight in chat says bacon interlinked. Within bacon interlinked. Ryan, you don't. I need you to watch this movie, okay? You need to watch both Blade Runners, and then tell me what you think. Have you been on the Flame Trench yet?
I have, after the last flight, I think. Yeah, because you and D decided to, for some reason, just steal CP11 and go to New Mexico for a few days. Like,
hey. That's slander. I don't appreciate that. We were authorized to take it by DOS. Now Chris B might not have known. That doesn't mean we stole it, okay? Doug W in chat says interbaconed. Yes. LSR. What's up, LSR? Our very own socials manager. They say, did Hopper get some cameras back so we might see views of this lift from its new home? I don't think so. I think they're just chopping everything off Hopper, but who knows? Russell Toy, thanks for the support. They say Jack's 0G indicator kilt fund. That is certainly a sentence. Pezzo D. Petra, I'm probably butchering that, sorry. Gifting a red team membership, thank you. That diabetic kid with a super chat, thanks so much. They're saying, I'm willing to drop the kilt if we get Jack as Captain Jack Sparrow on a boat. Your choice, Jack, but we need one. Absolutely not doing that. That's some films I've never seen. I've never seen any Pirates of the Caribbean film, nor do I care to. Ryan, that's the part where you're supposed to say, "Oh, I've seen them. They're really good." And I'm like, "What's wrong with you?"
Oh, I think I might have seen one of them before. I don't know. I'm not too fussed on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Let's see. Brett becoming a Padrat member. Dakota with a store purchase, getting a polo shirt. They say, if you can, do more polo shirts and pins. Thanks for all you do. Happy Adrian noises. I'm not a polo guy or person, but if you are, more power to you. Thomas Feldkamp asking, do we think they are pivoting to launch on the old license? It's a little early for a full stack with 2 months to go. Ryan, I'll let you go first on this one, and then I will provide my thoughts.
I don't think so. I think SpaceX is now so in... they've dug their hole with the whole FAA, with the FAA slow thing. I would really doubt that they would now backtrack and say, well, we're going to fly anyways and do the old profile, This booster catch has really become this flight's whole thing. So, regulatorily, that's a word, SpaceX can backtrack and perform the same flight profile as Flight 4, right? But whether they'd want to forego the booster catch, I'm not sure. It seems like they've really been gearing up for it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think this stack is about just getting the hardware fully ready. And also, the PR aspect of it saying, look, we're ready. We have pictures of a full stack on a pad. Come on, FAA. I think those are sort of the two reasons for this and for it happening so early. I don't think it's because they're pivoting back to a Flight 4 style profile without a catch. Donnie's says there is no room on LA streets for a super heavy. I mean, you say that, but they moved a space shuttle through the streets of LA. So, I mean, come on. Also, successful shuttle reference. We are approximately 57 minutes in. Hopefully we do not get fired that it took that long to mention the space shuttle. Looks like the ship is paused again. Slowly inching its way up the tower. Certainly looks cool, though. I'm not complaining.
Photos.
Matt's.
Photos.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking of the photos Mary's taking right now. Like, that's what I'm excited for. Mats, thank you for gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Extremely generous of you. Silly String Parfait. No, we have not talked about the Cards Against Humanity lawsuit. I don't want to get into politics and stuff. It's just like, ugh. We already have enough of it with the regulatory nonsense going on. Anonymous, grabbing a Raptor t-shirt and a Merlin hoodie. Awesome. They say, thanks for awesome torso garments. If we were to visit for Test 5, what exactly should we do when we get there? Where go and how get there? Why use more word when few word work good? I forget. You get it. I mean, definitely go to Sea Turtle Inc. Sea Turtle Inc. rules. You can see sea turtles there, obviously. If you want to stay on the South Padre, the Margaritaville is a great place. You can see the pad from your room. If you want to stay as close as possible, then you should check out Rocket Ranch, friends of the channel. They are absolutely awesome and have great accommodation right there on Highway 4, like 15 minutes from the launch site. It's amazing. They also have launch viewing at their outpost location, and that's basically as close as any members of the public or even people in general can be to a launch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think
check
the
out.
only person closer to the launch than anyone else is poor Dan Hewitt, who always gets locked in the high bay for some reason. I don't know why SpaceX does that to him. It's so they finally let him out of the high bay for the Polaris Dawn launch or the spacewalk the other day. But I mean, it's so mean of them. They always just lock him in. Poor guy's trying to get out.
Yeah, just let him out. He's a good guy. But yeah, check out the Margaritaville if you want to stay there. Check out Rocket Ranch if you want to stay there. And also for just viewing in general, Rocket Ranch Outpost, there's really no better spot to view from. So that's what I would recommend. I mean, aside from that, what to do out here? Do you like the beach? Because there's a lot of beach you can hang out on.
Yeah. Beach is nice to walk up and down on. I do have to say.
And if you do manage to have or rent a four-wheel drive vehicle, it's always fun to drive on the beach. That's always a treat. Fishing, I guess, if that's your thing. There's various other activities you can partake in that are typical beach town activities. There's like parasailing and like dolphin tours and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would say, number one, check out Rocket Ranch. Number two, Sea Turtle Inc. I like sea turtles. I like all the wildlife around Starbase. It's really a treat seeing like the hawks and the birds and the crabs and the turtles, and it's just, there's a lot of cool wildlife around. So hopefully you're into that.
Mm-hmm.
Phil is asking, do you think they'll static fire Booster 13 before they fly Flight 5? I think it's highly likely. What do you think, Ryan?
I think that is certainly a possibility. That, again, would play into SpaceX's let's get... I mean, I'll be honest. If SpaceX stacks the Flight 6 booster and ship, takes a photo and throws it on social media, I think that would be a pretty big statement. That's what SpaceX wants to do right now. They want to make statements that, hey, our hardware is ready. We're waiting for the regs to catch up with us. So I think there's definitely a possibility, almost a certainty, Booster 13 is static-fied before Flight 5. I would also not be surprised if SpaceX says, oh, why not? Let's stack Ship 31 on top as well for the photo op. That would be a very SpaceX thing to do, especially right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I fully expect it. I mean, they just static fired Ship 31, so I think we're all kind of expecting Booster 13 to also static fire as well. Let's see. Is the ship above the booster? Are we in the point where they're going to translate over now?
It would be very close. Obviously we are looking from the ground because we're not allowed to fly drones, only SpaceX is. It's very, 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 very close. This view from a little bit further away is looking a bit more side on.
Yep.
There's not a lot of clearance. So I think, doing some quick trigonometry in my head, not really just guessing, I think they'd probably be okay to swing it across now, but they might want to go up a little bit further.
Yeah, and you can even see there is a SpaceX drone keeping tabs on things there, just off to the right, below that little cloud.
I think that cloud is in the background, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but like located below the cloud in frame, a puffy little cloud. You don't get that reference either. You have no idea who Bob Ross is, do you?
He's the painter guy, isn't he?
Hey, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. Peter Calkins
like
is asking
or something.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, everything's a meme if you try hard enough. Peter Calkins is asking, how likely do you think that Ship 26 will be an HLS test article? I'm going to say 1%. 1% likely.
I think there is a non-zero chance.
I mean, yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. It's a non-zero chance. It's very, 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 very close to zero, but it's non-zero. Let's see. More questions. Keep them coming, guys. You got some good ones today.
Yeah.
Matrix is not with a question, but with a statement saying, calling it now, Ship 26 will be the first ship with Raptor version 3. No. Stop. All right. Eddie White, thanks for becoming a Red Team member. Ninja Decimator. Pew, pew, pew. Gifting a Red Team membership. Matt PD, thank you for the support there. They say, I suspect these pauses are for capturing new load data. Tower sway is very likely different after ARM mods. Stop, read data, inspect with drone, repeat. Yeah, I would say that's plausible.
Yeah, I would say that's plausible as well. My only question is, why did they not do that with the booster then? Because they've already lifted a booster after these modifications, and the booster's bigger. I don't know. Maybe it's different with the ship, or they want to get different data because the ship's a different size. I don't know. But that would be my question to SpaceX.
Right.
If I could.
Let's see. Waiting for that ship to translate over to the right now. Keeping our eyes on those Raptors. Waiting for that movement to start. Thomas Ray says, I still stand by turning Hopper into a whiskey still. I'm on board. Although, they should really, brew beer in it, because, beer has hops. Could call it Hopper Ale? I don't know. We'll have to workshop a name, but you get you just fill in the blanks in your head. Make it funny. Make it funny in your head. James in chat booing me. I deserve it. Let's see. Peter is asking, so I've always wondered about this. Why don't they have flaps on the booster like they do on the ship? Wouldn't this save a lot of fuel? Would extra mass be too detrimental? I suspect the second thing. Although the booster does have chines, and those chines are not just like aero covers that cover up stuff that you don't want to subject to the aerodynamic flow. They will provide lift as the booster comes back. A small amount of lift, but lift. So in a way, it does have... Oh, ship's moving.
It's moving over. And I mean, everybody is trying this in different methods, right? It's just... The grid fins and the chines is one way to tackle the problem. Blue Origin has got those massive... they're not flaps, but they're like those little aero surfaces on the side of New Glenn, and they've got twisting flaps at the top instead of grid fins. Everybody, I think Relativity wants to do a similar thing with Terranar. Everybody who's trying to tackle this problem is doing it in their own way. And like we were saying earlier, with actually catching it, there's so many different ways you can try and solve this problem. So it's just, everybody is doing it in their own way, if that makes sense. Some may be better than others, but we'll just have to wait and see, how that turns out, because there's more that, even though we've only seen SpaceX do this so far with Falcon 9, there is more than one way to build a recoverable booster. Just like there's more than one way to build a commercial aeroplane. All commercial airplanes look different, are designed differently. At the end of the day, they're an aeroplane, but they look different. They're different sizes, they're different shapes. Same thing with rockets. They're different sizes, they're different shapes. At the end of the day, they all throw something into orbit.
Yeah, if only we had another commentator that we could ask for their thoughts on this. Maybe someone who's relatively smart, has sort of penchant for very detailed, long-winded answers, maybe from another country, I don't know, Spain or something.
What are you talking about, Jack?
Oh, hey, it's Alex. What's up, buddy?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing. Which is enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's better than not doing. So what do you think? Why not have flaps on the booster like they do the ship? I mean, probably because they're not doing a flip and burn with the booster. What do you think?
I'm mostly sure it's just down to trade-offs, right? Because, when you think about having to land something the size of Super Heavy, well, first of all, you have a really heavy bottom. That might sound very weird to say, but it is true. Like the Raptor engines, those 33 Raptor engines at the bottom of Super Heavy, are really really heavy. So that means essentially that you need potentially more flap surface at the top, for example. So you probably will need like huge flaps in order to be able to do, some type of belly flop kind of thing. With the Starship is easier because it's only like 6 engines, right? There's not a lot of, you know, the center of mass of the Starship of the ship is not that low. So it all comes with trade-offs, right? If you remember, if for people that might have seen, for example, Tim's video, touring Blue Origin's factory, Jeff actually talks about this for the strakes on New Glenn, right? That it's always wanting to, when you do the simulations, it's always wanting to have big strakes, similar to wings, essentially. Like it's always asking for it to just glide and use the atmosphere all the time, and just trying to get as low of a terminal velocity as possible. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that, well, the more mass that you carry, the less performance the rocket has, because you have a lot of dry mass, you need to lift off and everything, right? Like you cannot do that. And so at the end of the day, it's this trade-off of where does it make more sense to put all of these flaps and everything. Well, on Starship, it's kind of straightforward, right? As I was mentioning, the mass distribution and everything kind of allows for it.
No, Starship
Super
isn't
heavy.
straightforward. It's actually rotating to the right now.
Oh, Jack. I was almost like this close to butting in this conversation when you made that pun earlier, like 5 minutes ago. But yeah, like it's just much more. It's a lot heavier if you put it on super heavy. It will become mega heavy, I guess.
A lot of parasitic mass there, and yeah, it just like you said, it's all trade-offs. Rockets and rocket engineering is all just a series of trade-offs. Let's do some more questions as the ship rotates on top of the booster. Look at those glorious Raptor engines. 3 vectors, 3 slackers. Here's a question.
Please stop saying that.
No, I'm not going to. Conky.
Yes.
Europey Clippy. If people are gonna call it hoppy, I can make up words too. Here's a question. I think this one's a good one for Alex since we have him on now. What are some of the things I should look for if planning a trip to Starbase to see Starship Flight 5 launch? And should I book my flights months in advance? I don't know, Alex. What do you think? Any experience there?
Oh, Ryan. You did this on purpose. Because that's a Ryan question.
Yes, I did.
Yes, I admitted the fact that it was being asked by Ryan in the question. Any advice, Alex, for people wanting to see Flight 5? Maybe from experience?
Hey, hang on. So, yes, I went to the US to see Flight 5, but I did not go just for
How
that.
did it look?
Just for the
Was
record.
it brilliant? Did the
No,
catch work?
no. Okay, hang on. I just told you it was for that, but it was not just for that. I did a lot of other things, and you can see on social media. Anyways, yeah. So my first recommendation, obviously, is that if you want to go on a timely manner, just wait until there's note Mars and no TAMs and whatnot. Notices in general, because that's as close as you can get. The problem is the closer that you get, if you need to book flights and whatnot, it's gonna get very expensive. Which is why I essentially took them, like I booked those flights very very early on, and that's why I missed my window. But I don't care. I can watch Starship whenever, as long as the program keeps going.
I love that it was a complete joke question and we still got a long answer.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's pretty much that. Just wait until there are notices out there. Obviously, as we get closer, SpaceX at the end of the day will say something about the timing. It's gonna be November, whatever, December, whatever, right? Like we're gonna get to that point, and then they're gonna be announcing a launch date. There's like a whole video that we did last year. We probably should need another one just for refresh kind of thing. Where like DAS, it's one of those DAS explainers where he goes through all of the different notices and things that we use to sort of guess when a Starship launch will happen.
Drone moving in close. Looks like the translation has stopped, so now we should see the ship lowered on top of Booster 12. I'm really hoping Mary got some awesome Raptor shots as we got those extended pauses there. Sometimes they lift it so quickly, it's like you have a few fleeting seconds to shoot the Raptors in all their glory. Today seems like it might have been a good opportunity for folks to get some cool shots of the engine section there. So fingers crossed we see those coming out on the socials. Be sure to follow Mary and be sure to follow NSF on whatever social feed of choice. Mika Original, thanks for gifting 10 Red Team memberships and 10 more. Wow, thank you so much. That really means a lot. That's 20 people now, in addition to all the other gifted memberships from everyone else on the stream that now have access to the member program and all the sweet perks, like the members only emoji, which I'm now going to spam in chat. I'm going to do a bunch of star hoppers because I can, because I'm a member. Members, let me see your favorite emoji of choice. Ninja Decimator again. Pew pew pew. Thank you for the support. They say enjoying a storm here in, oh god, what's MN? Is that Minnesota? It's not Montana, right? Montana's MT, I think.
What is the abbreviation MN stand for?
I think I should know, right? I've been there, so like.
It's Minnesota.
It's Minnesota. It's Minnesota.
There you go.
They say also Jackdaw in a kilt 0G indicator. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, we need to tell Adrian, hey, can we have that for the show?
No, nobody tell Adrian that. Angry American, they say 0G Jack in a kilt indicator would outsell patches. Stop. Matt Hicks, thanks for the support. They say, any idea on the future status of Hopper? Unfortunately, no. I wish we did know. I wish SpaceX would just tweet, like, we will never kill Hopper, or something like that. Or, we're going to murder Hopper. Like, just tell us. Just end the suspense, please.
I need to ask a question related with this. Also, the ship is going down, by the way. Is there anything new about Hopper that I may have missed in the last 24 hours?
I mean, they continue to remove all of its accoutrement, and that's about it.
You know, I just think it's just going to stay there. Like, it's just going to be another location for it to be for however many years.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I really do. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Stay tuned to Starbase Live, and you will know as soon as we do. I'm seeing a lot of questions about the patch. Again, SpaceX has really started to move a lot faster than we expected. So we did not expect a full stack this soon. We just need a few more days to get the patch ready. So hold tight. Doug Ramsey, thank you for gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Absolutely outstanding support from y'all on this one. Thank you so much. Jacques is asking, I don't mind waiting a little longer for the patch, but can we please pre-order? Nope. We're just waiting a little bit longer. Just hold tight. Dave, thank you for the support. They say, when Tower 2 becomes fully active, do you think they'll remove OLM-1 and replace it with a trench to avoid regulatory hurdles? I do suspect a major rework on Pad A after Pad B comes online. I don't know. What do you think, Alex?
I don't know how putting a flame trench will avoid regulatory hurdles. I actually will think that might create more because you have to change things or in licensings and
I mean, I think
paperwork.
They mean specifically related to the deluge issues.
Yeah. There's still gonna be a need for a deluge. Like, I don't know, like we made a video about this like a couple of months ago when they did the draft environmental assessment for the increased cadence of launches, and it actually says that they're gonna be using even more water for Pad B. So having the trench does not guarantee that there's gonna be less water discharge or anything like it, right? I don't like, and that's just one corner of the many corners that regulatory paperwork has, and so I don't know. It's probably gonna be there's probably going to be actually more paperwork if they build something there, but they're going to need it, right? Either way, once the paperwork is complete, that's one of the things, at least, that's kind of helpful of paperwork. Whereas, they're going to need an upgrade of this pad, and quick, because they're going to need a lot of launches for not just even their future, far future Mars ambitions, but also even closer to home, Artemis, right? There's going to need a lot of tankers and a lot of launches for that.
Yeah. I don't know. Ryan, thoughts? Or not, if you're going to be a grumpy Gus about it.
No, I'm not being grumpy. I'm just trying to. I'll concur with everything Alex said, because I don't really think I have anything additional to add on to that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look how close it is.
Super
Going
close.
down.
This is the part that is like sort of agonizing, because they have to line the ship up with those hooks, right, Alex?
Yeah, and remember how on the last full stack, like on what was it, Booster 11 and Ship 29, they added an extra pin to the hot staging ring, potentially to aid on this. This hot staging ring also has a fourth pin. As I always say, it's a pin, but it doesn't have a hook. There are only hooks on 3 of the 4 pins. So yeah, that could be one of the things that we may have to look out for here, where we need to look at that engine chill pipe being aligned with the extension on the hot staging ring. So we'll see.
We will see. Hopefully no large clang as the ship settles on the booster again.
That's for sure. Yeah.
When was that? Was that Flight 4 or Flight 3? I forget when that happened. I think it was Flight 3.
I think it's being on a couple of full stacks, like different flights.
Yeah, that makes sense. Brandon Fitz 50 is asking, I believe Elon said that you only need 3 grid fins for control of the vehicle. Why do they use 4 if they could save weight with 3? Well, buddy, it's still booster version 1. I mean, who knows what's going to happen on future versions of boosters. Although,
Yeah.
I do feel like a 3 grid fin booster would look kind of cursed, and I'm not looking forward to it. But maybe I'll not hate it as much as I expect, in the same way that I don't hate the altered forward flap position on version 2 of the ship. But, I don't know. Ryan, thoughts?
To have 3 grid fins is physically, technically, maybe, probably probable. That's English. But you can't just rip a grid fin off booster, whatever one. I forgot what booster. You can't just rip a grid fin off this booster, right? Whatever number it is, because I forgot. They need to be properly spaced out and orientationed and all of that jazz. So they need to be like a triangle shape. You can't have it like this one.
Right. Yeah.
Just say the word trade-off.
Trade-offs. There we go.
That's the word of the show today, I guess.
No, it's hooks.
Oh my god. But yeah, it all comes down to trade-offs. If you have 4 grid fins, you have a lot more redundancy and things like that. And it doesn't add a lot more mass than 3. I don't know. Especially once they remove a lot of the shielding with Raptor 3 at the bottom of the booster, that's gonna eliminate a lot of the dry mass on the booster.
Andreas becoming a new Padrat member. Thank you for that. Russell Snodgrass, holy cow, with a $100 super chat. I think he did one yesterday too. Russell, you're one of those names we see pop up all the time, supporting us with large amounts of cash there. Thank you so much. We really can't do this stuff without people like you. So thank you. I mean, there's so many cameras. Cameras break. You saw how rusty the Chopsticks got just with a little bit of work they were doing on them. Imagine what our camera sites go through. The salt air out there is no joke. I mean, that's why Dan is here right now working on all of our sites, getting them up to snuff and making sure everything is working. And the data rates, I mean, everything right now is on LTE because reasons I don't have to go into right now, but LTE data is not cheap, and also people's time is not cheap. So thank you, Russell. they're asking, when they finally add 3 more Raptors to Starship, will they be 3 more Slactors or 3 more Vactors? It's going to be 3 more Vactors, right, Alex?
Yep, three more Raptor vacuum engines.
Vactors, got it. Thank you. Russell, once again, buddy, seriously, that's insane. Thank you so much. Also, RC Horseman with a $69.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Wow. They say down payment, Jack. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No.
For
No.
for legal reasons.
No. I'm not. No kilt. Stop with the kilt. No amount of money. Unless I previously said on a stream a certain amount of money. Which I might have done. I don't know. We do a lot of streams. Blue Clasher. I think this is their first ever super chat. Thank you so much, Blue Clasher. They say, what is the success of catching on the first try? I think they mean, what is the chance of success of catching on the first try? I think fairly
We'll find
high.
out.
That's your answer? We'll find out? Really?
We'll find out.
This is their first ever super chat.
We'll find out.
Why are you the way you are?
I always joke that it's a 50-50 chance because it's caught or not.
That's fair. That's fair. I think it depends on how you define a try. Like, if they abort before it gets close to the launch site, does that count as a try?
I
don't
guess.
know. Maybe.
In approximately 2 months' time, I'll have a very solid answer for that question for you, Blue Clasher, so don't worry.
Oh, good
Someone
deal.
saying in chat, Alex, that is not how probabilities work. I know.
And you know it, bud.
And you know it, yeah.
Flawed perspective got you good there. Ravshan O'Day is asking, wait! Why are they stacking and doing a wet dress rehearsal? Isn't the launch in November? Why do it now? Alex, I'll let you answer that because Ryan and I have already answered it earlier in the stream, but maybe some people have joined that didn't hear that answer. So, what's going on? Why are they stacking now?
I'm going to go for the easy answer, and then I'll do my usual long answer, which is, why not? that's the easy answer. The long answer is, why not? Well, you can just say, oh, they could wait until closer to launch, but what if something happens, right? What if they realize that they need more testing of the vehicles, they need more repairs, they need to do anything on the launch systems, right? Like, why not do it now instead of waiting around, and suddenly discovering that on launch day, on whenever it happens. So yeah, they have the vehicles ready. They say they are ready, so stack them, do a wet dress, and if nothing happens, good. They are completely ready. Like, the launch pad is ready as well. But if they discover something that is not up to spec or whatever, then they can fix it on time for the launch. Plenty of time. And this will not be the earliest that they have done a wet dress before a launch, by the way. For the first launch, they did a wet dress rehearsal on January, and then they launched in April. So that was like 3 months between wet dress and launch. It will not be the longest time, not even close. Yes, Alex, you're right.
Yes, Alex, you're right. Sorry, I was talking while muted. No, I was talking while muted. Sorry. Thank you, Alex. Lyric Bread is asking if a booster catch will take place over the orbital launch mount. How will they catch a ship with the booster back on the OLM? Will they catch ship with sticks facing north? I sort of suspect that they would lift the booster off the pad and then onto a transport stand before catching with a ship. Because remember, the booster comes back in like 8-9 minutes? The ship, it's 90 minutes to orbit the Earth? If they're doing one orbit, presumably they'll be doing more than one orbit. So there is time. There's time there to get things sorted out. I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll go with Ryan first.
I'll be honest, I personally am not 100% sure SpaceX is set to catch the ship with the chopsticks. You know, they are going to be landing Starship in multiple locations where they will not have chopsticks, i.e. the moon, i.e. Mars. You know,
Right.
they're not going to land there, build the chopsticks, and then land on it. You know, they need to get there to build the chopsticks to land on, if you know what I'm saying. So, maybe this is just me, but personally, I'm a little bit pessimistic that they'll actually want to catch the ship with the chopsticks. And if they do, then I think they would, like you said, Jack, remove the booster from the pad. Because this whole system is designed to be like interchangeable, right? I don't think they're going to have the same ship on the same booster for the entire, you know, lifespan of said ship and booster. So they can mix and match. I think it'll just depend how, you know, specific flight operations work. Because it would be rare for a once around orbit for an operational mission, unless, you know, they launch, deploy the Starlinks, and then deorbit, you know, a few minutes after. Maybe that's and then fill it with Starlinks, and then launch it again, and then deploy it, and then re-enter, and then fill it with Starlinks, and then launch again, and then you know, maybe that's something SpaceX wants to do. Just launch a batch of Starlinks every 90 minutes.
That would be amazing.
I mean, you know, it will not be impossible. The only problem is, like, you know, if I was gonna go on a long explanation about orbital mechanics, but in very short terms, depending on the inclination, they may not have another try until like 12 hours after launch. So, to come back to the launch site, because, you know, the Earth rotates. It's a globe. What about that? Breaking news.
I thought it was flat.
Yeah, right. That would make a lot of things a lot easier, but unfortunately, yeah.
You're assuming that Starship has no cross range, though, Alex. It could.
I'd be
do an
very
inclination
surprised if it
change.
has that kind of cross range.
It could
Just
do an
gonna say that.
inclination change. I did it in Kerbal.
Oh yeah, of course it works on Kerbal, so they can do it in real life. Anyways, my take on this is that there's two towers. They can just catch it on the other. Like, don't complicate things. It's just so much easier to do it on the other.
That would make sense. Now we're going to get people asking about catch-only towers. Oh, geez. CWL Creations becoming a Capcom member. That's awesome. You get Discord access at Capcom level and above, and you also get access to the pre-show and post-show to the Flame Trench, where we have a whole lot of fun. And you get like a whole bunch of other perks too, like a whole bunch of member photos, and the Discord rules. So pop into the Discord and say, hey. Sandeep, thank you for becoming a Padrat member. Al Kimball, thanks for the super chat. John M, $30 super chat. Wow, thank you. They say best Saturday afternoon, beer, bacon, and Raptors. That sounds like a good Saturday afternoon to me.
Oh.
Still waiting for the ship to lower down there. This part often takes quite a while, so just have to be patient. Why is the shot on the right so blue? What is this, Eiffel 65?
I think we might need to adjust the white balance ever so slightly, but that's
blue.
just an inkling I have.
I mean, it's also looking at a different direction.
Does anyone get the joke? Oh, Kevin gets the joke. Moldy Space gets the joke. Love you, Moldy. I'm so old. Llama, thank you for gifting 10 Red Team memberships, and Bideford gifting 20 Red Team memberships. Y'all are being so generous today. Thank you so much. Helping us gear up for Flight 5 and helping us continue to do what we do. It means the world. Now I have that song stuck in my head. All I can think about is that horrible techno song. It's ruined my brain.
Okay, let's continue. So, how's the alignment?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. You were the one looking at cameras. No. Copyright. Shh.
You know, I heard
don't
that
know.
he's actually saying if I was green, I would die. That's the... Alex, how's alignment?
It's looking like it needs to go a little bit down more to figure out whether it's aligning or not. It kind of looks a bit more to the right, but also the hot stage ring has some thickness to it, so it's a bit deceiving.
Yeah, I don't want to backseat direct here, but Jay, can we look at June again, please? Because I don't know if this was just a visual illusion, but it looks like from this perspective, the heat shield side of the ship is closer to the booster than the steel side of the ship. You know, like the gap looks a bit wedge shaped to me, but I'm not 100% sure.
Wedge shaped?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do a screenshot so you can see what I mean.
Thank you. I'm a big dumb stupid head, so that's helpful. In the meantime, let's do some more questions. The Gamer Study Supremer is asking, why is nobody trying to reuse the second stage in a Falcon 9 rocket style? Some people are. Right, Alex?
I mean, what do they mean by a Falcon 9 rocket style?
Like, not a giant megalithic rocket,
Oh,
and not
well,
necessarily with flaps and a flip and burn and all that?
yeah. There's a Stoke, which is more like a capsule reentry, right? Because it has that bottom heat shield. That also acts sort of like the sort of like this thing that allows what's it called, air spikes to be able to form. Yeah, I mean that's an example of how to do that without needing a big set of flaps and things like that. Again, trade-offs, right?
It's always
It also comes with its
trade-offs.
own, yeah, it also comes with its own disadvantages as well. But whatever. There's like a lot of discussion about that, I guess, that I could go on, but I don't want to, because otherwise it'll be just a long-winded answer as usual.
Let's see. Angry American, thanks for the super chat. Andreas, thank you. Gary Hayes, thank you so much for the $10. Flawed Perspective with 25 Canadian, saying party kilt only for Jack, cannot afford a real kilt. 800. Are kilts really $800? Is that a thing? Jay, are kilts that expensive? I had no idea. Ryan, thank you for the support.
Welcome.
They say, please give your most controversial hot take to keep me warm while I work in the freezer at my job. This isn't the flame trench. We're just reporting on what's going on and hanging out with chat and answering your questions. If you want hot takes, watch the flame trench. You'll warm right up. Yesterday's was a good one.
Yeah, like 10 hours ago or something like that, right?
Oh, don't remind me. It was also a long one. It was like a 3-hour flame trench. So be sure to check that out after today's stream. Also, I think we have a daily video ready to go once the ship is down and settled. So stay tuned for that as well.
Are we gonna have Das again?
No. Ooh. I'm not going to tell you who did it, but
wow,
somebody not Das is narrating today's daily video.
You'll
just have to watch and see who it is. I think we have some pictures from my dad, who is out there right now.
Oh my lord!
How you're leading into it now.
Yeah, no, he's my dad.
Oh my god!
Really cool shot.
I'll let you go with a joke.
Really cool shot of the Raptors there. Thank you, Dan. Definitely looking forward to more shots from the field. I know Dan and Caesar are out there working right now, and I know Mary is out there taking photos, so really looking forward to her shots as well once she's able to get them edited and uploaded. Cool deal. More shots from Dan there.
Looks like it went down a little bit more.
It does. It's like very slowly creeping down. And it's always hard to judge alignment based on the different camera angles. It's like, is that left side in the right sort of orientation?
Going
Does it
down
need to go
again.
to the left a little bit?
Go, 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 go.
And Alex, we can see the what is that? The engine chill pipe on the
Yeah.
ship and where it needs to be lined up on the booster, and you can see they're not aligned right now, right?
Yeah, it looks like as if the ship was a little bit more in than out. You know what I mean, right? That it's further away
No.
from the camera view. Well, right, maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like it's almost like there's some distance from that pipe to the the alignment. It's not left right. It's actually back and forth from the camera view.
Right. Mats Gosalar again with another super chat. They say, "Yo, listen up. Here's a story about a little guy that lives in." Yeah,
Oh.
it's gonna be in my
Oh.
head for so long. What's wrong with me? Thank you, Mats.
Everything.
Everything is wrong with me.
See, I can fire back.
Yeah, I mean, do.
I already
deserve it.
did.
Ryan Harkins, thanks for the support. They say Flight 5, whether a catch or not, will be epic. Hoping to make it down to watch. We hope you make it down too, buddy. As always, if you are making the exodus to Starbase, be sure to find us. Well, whether it's myself or Mary or Dan or whoever's out here at the time, we generally carry around special NSF patches, not flight patches, but it's like a patch that says NSF.
Yeah.
And you can't really get those anywhere else. So if you find us, you get a sticker, you'll get a patch, you'll get something. At the very least, you'll get a handshake and a thanks for watching our videos because we appreciate you. So Ryan, hopefully you're able to make it.
Yeah. One person you won't meet though is Alex because he's gone home.
That's amazing. You're amazing. Very little space left now.
And now you can see that the pipe is definitely not aligned.
It's definitely not aligned.
Maybe this is just a me thing, but they might not be SpaceX might not be too bothered at having everything aligned because this could just be for a photo op. They might adjust it later.
I really think that they're going to go for a wet dress. I mean, could they lift the ship and readjust it? Sure. But there are closures in the coming week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So expecting a wet dress this week. I don't think it's just a photo op. Are they going to use it also for a photo op? No question. Absolutely.
100%.
Start your stopwatches now and wait for the SpaceX tweet that's going to come probably in the next couple hours. Maybe they'll wait until after the wet dress to do it, but I suspect we will see some messaging from the SpaceX side regarding their readiness.
Ooh, you know what?
What?
That comment from before where they said, do you have a hot take and whatnot? I have a hot take.
Uh-oh.
Why is it that we are in the 5th flight, 6 full stack, essentially, because we also had Booster 4 and Ship 20, and they still don't get the alignment correct? Like, every single full stack that we've seen so far has had some issues.
I mean, basically each of these vehicles has been kind of a one-off. I mean, it's every now and then we'll see like a vehicle pair where it's like these two ships are sort of built the same before they do like more serious mods. So it could just be down to these are still prototypes, and until they stack them together, it's hard to say exactly how they will stack together. I don't know if does that make sense? I mean, there's an entirely separate team working on the booster, and then the team that works on the ship, then the team that works on the tower, then the team that works on the mount. It's all, all of these teams have to work together, and maybe sometimes, stuff changes very rapidly, as we all know, and that results in something like this. I don't know. Maybe they'll just tweak the ship a little bit, and that pipe will align just fine. Who knows?
It's funny that we call it the engine chill pipe. Actually, those two pipes are the engine chill pipes. The one on the right that is thinner and shorter and doesn't have an extension, that's for methane.
And the other one is for liquid oxygen?
Yeah. But the only one that vents on the ground, as you can imagine, is the one for liquid oxygen. The only one that vents. So the short story here, the methane is recaptured as long as the ship is connected to the ground systems. But once in space, how do you do engine chill for the methane side? You just dump it overboard. That's what that
Huh.
engine chill pipe is for.
That makes
And
sense.
you could see that on, especially on ship 28, when they were chilling down the engines for the relight, which did not happen, but they were preparing for it, right? The vehicle itself was preparing for it. You could see like large chunks of ice stuck at the end of those engine chill pipes, both engine chill pipes.
Huh. I learned something new today. That makes sense. Kara Twilight says ship and booster interlinked. I love it. Alex, have you seen Blade Runner?
Yeah, but a long time ago. I need
Why
to
are we
rewatch
friends?
it.
You do.
You know this thing where you're like, you watch so many things that at the end of the day you forget some of them. Like your hard drive on your brain just cannot fit everything. I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, that's the problem. If you're using a hard drive, you should really get, like an M.2 SSD in there to try and
Oh my
speed these
God.
things up.
Yeah, for real. Spinning Rust? I would never. He says as he looks at the 20 terabyte hard drive to his right, next to several 5 terabyte hard drive. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I have 45 terabytes of Spinning Rust, 6 inches from my computer right now.
Imagine editing off a hard drive. Couldn't be me.
Oh, I don't. It's archiving.
No, I edit off a hard drive. All of the, like the entire NSF drive, it syncs to a hard drive and I edit off of it. That might be where my pains with Premiere Pro come from.
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh man, it looks like the ship is down. I mean, if there's still a gap, it's minuscule.
But it's not aligned, Jack.
It does not look aligned based on that pipe. But it looks like it's down. So we'll see if they do any more adjustments or whatnot. But what we'll also see is a picture from Mary, one of many coming down the pipe. Speaking of pipes, you'll love to see it.
Very funny.
Fantastic. What a crazy image. Like, production site there in the background, launch site here in the foreground, ship mid-air, world's largest rocket. And you can be this close to it. What a crazy thing. Yeah, excellent image there from Mary.
That's one of the things I didn't realize until actually visiting Starbase in person. Like, the whole area is so flat. You can stand next to the launch site and see the production site clearly. You can see Massey's clearly. Like, when I was there, they were testing a booster at Massey's. You can see them testing the booster from the launch site and just miles away. It's so mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty. Especially when you get like a nice clear day. You can see South Padre Island. Like you said, you can see Massey's. In fact, if you're a member and you're in the Discord and you go to member level photos, there is a shot from like 2 days ago of Massey's from the production site, actually from Boca Chica Village. And it's extremely visible. It's right there. I'm going to tag it. Also, Laika has decided right now that she's going to eat all of her food. So I'm going to mute myself. Somebody else talk while I handle that.
Laika, be nice.
Are they twisting the ship? I can't tell. The signal's also not fantastic, but there's not much we can do about that, unfortunately.
I'm trying to do like A/B testing just to see what they're doing with the ship.
It might just be my mind making things, but the pipes look more aligned, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. And, going back to the explanation that I did before, the whole reason why they have like that other pipe on the hot staging ring is because they dump that engine chill for the liquid oxygen side while on the ground. They sort of try to extend that outwards, right? So that it doesn't they just try to get it as far as they physically can by extending that pipe through the booster down the vehicle. So That's why you have that. And you don't have that for the methane one, because it's only used in space once the ship is already separated from the booster. Makes sense, right?
I do just want to note that Ali, who is always in chat, has gifted 50 Red Team memberships.
Oh, boy.
But
Whoa!
they haven't gifted 50 Red Team memberships. They've gifted 20, then 20, and then 10 Red Team
Nice.
memberships. So thank you very much, Ali. But I did find that slightly amusing.
Yeah, Ali Demercy is another one of those people we see popping up all the time with huge amounts of support. So, once again, thank you so much. That's 50 people now that have access to the super cool member program and all of its perks. And if you're wondering, how come I haven't been gifted a membership? I'm in chat. It is a setting you need to turn on in YouTube. So make sure you you go into your YouTube settings and toggle that setting.
I think if you hit join on like the channel page or under the video, and then there's like a settings cog or something, there's like a check mark you need to ensure is turned on. And gifted memberships also, as I found out, don't work for brand accounts. So if you're chatting using a brand account and not like the actual Google account that is your Google account, then you can't get gifted a membership. It's weird, I know, but those are YouTube's rules. We can't do anything about it. We don't choose who gets them. That's just, that's how YouTube works.
Indeed. Al Kimball asking about the pipes on the outside of Starship. We talked about that a little bit. Engine chill pipes. Thank you for the super chat there, buddy. Adam, thanks for the super chat. They say, we don't have a question, but Adam likes your videos. Thanks, and keep up the great work. Thank you. We're glad you like our videos, Adam. Ethan, thank you for the support. They say, why do you guys like the space shuttle so much? By the way, it's also my favorite. By the way, I can't.
By the
my
way?
brain. Oh my God, my brain. By the
You
way,
didn't
it's
knock me
also
for
my
my
favorite
English.
NASA rocket. Alex, I can't mute you. I don't have mute powers, but I'll ask Jay to mute you. So help me. The shuttle is amazing. I mean, I simultaneously love and hate the space shuttle. It was awful in so many ways. Designed by committee. Watch the Pentagon Wars. If you've never seen the Pentagon Wars, it's like a very accurate simulation of what went down with the shuttle. But it's also a beautiful machine, and it's also sort of, cutting edge, mounted sideways on the stack. Reusable space plane. I mean, I think we all agree that best rockets are space planes. But the cool thing is, despite all of Shuttle's flaws, and despite the bureaucratic nonsense that went along with it, and resulted in basically all of those flaws, we don't have to worry about that anymore. And we still get cool things like, I don't know, Dream Chaser and X-37B. Space planes are really cool. And dare I say, Starship, I'm taking a page out of Chris B's book here. Starship, in a lot of ways, is Shuttle 2.0. It's all of the things that Shuttle should have been. A fully reusable system, not mounted sideways on the stack, so you eliminate any sort of foam or ice strike issues on the brittle ceramic tiles on a heat shield. It really is sort of the evolution of Space Shuttle in many ways. No solid motors to junk up the atmosphere and be extra dangerous. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think Mick92 in chat is right. Starship is an honorary space plane.
Hear me out here, but Shuttle to me is like the classic Land Rovers. Now hear me out. It's really cool, and I love them. But they're a bit old, bit inefficient. They're not, the most optimized vehicle ever made. But it's so cool.
Right. I would agree with all of that.
It's so cool.
One of these days, I would love to get a vintage Defender. That would be so cool. Every time I go to England, I see like a million of them because they're all still running. And yeah, they're just beautiful machines. Land Rover, good. I think we can all agree.
Yeah. I want one, but they're just a bit expensive to insure at the moment. So
it goes. Panzer is asking, chance they do Flight 5 with a Flight 4 style profile or extra information on landing if the FAA is going to make it take ages. I honestly think if they were going to make that call, they would have made that call months ago.
I think they would have done it way before they go on an entire public kind of PR rant on social media saying the FAA is holding us up, we can't fly, blah, blah, blah. Because that's what they've done. That's essentially what SpaceX has done here.
Right.
Also, if you remember from what the FAA said, they changed parameters like right around mid-August. So they probably, they're probably not even considering that at this point. Like, I will even go to that, to say that they're probably not even considering anymore going back to Flight 4 profile.
Matrix in chat says, if Shuttle is a Land Rover, then Buran is a two-wheel drive Jeep. I love this. I love this analogy. That's perfect.
I'm so glad I don't know about cars.
They have four wheels generally, internal combustion engine or electric, sometimes hydrogen. It's like two motorcycles with a little house in between. Is that helpful? Am I helping?
Dear Lord.
Hey, it looks a little bit more aligned now. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? It still doesn't look perfect, but it looks better.
They might have rotated it like ever so slightly.
Right. I'm also looking at that the welds there on the hook socket, whatever you want to call it.
I'm doing A/B testing here from like a view that we have very similar like 10 minutes ago.
Right.
And it essentially moved a little bit to the left, probably trying to get the ship that pipe a little bit more aligned.
Good deal. Mika Original is asking, if the catch goes without any problems, if it goes perfectly as planned, which flight do you guys expect a ship catch attempt? I'm going to say, So Flight 6 will be version 1 hardware. Flight 7 will be the first version 2 hardware flight. Flight 8 will be the second version 2 hardware flight. I'm going to say Flight 8. So that would be Ship 34.
I will concur.
Alex?
I'm going to say somewhere between 10 and 15.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they're probably going to try a few re-entries to get that down, very nicely. And also, maybe some of the upcoming flights might not even include a re-entry. Who knows? Maybe they go to orbit.
Maybe.
Well, I meant a control re-entry. Sorry. They will have to come down at some point, of course, and into a place pre-planned and everything. Not suggesting that SpaceX is gonna, strand some of these starships in orbit, but just more talking about, they go into orbit, then they re-enter, and then they break up or something like that. Like they don't try an actual, proper re-entry.
Eric, thanks for the super chat. They say, Jack, the best way to get people to shut up about kilts is to just wear one. No, it's not. Oh, I wish that was the case. I think it would only make it worse, honestly. Duke Nukem. Nice name. Thanks for the super chat. They say, will Flight 4 patches be available again? I sadly missed that, and it's ruining my collection. Nope. Once they're gone, they're gone. Sorry. Ben, thank you for the super chat. They say, Ship 26 will be the first to fire Raptor 3s. I doubt it, but never say never. What the heck is going on at the tank farm?
It's just happy. It's venting.
As a treat. Disabled park hopper.
Yay, Starship's back.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Disabled Park Hopper, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. Once again, you get Discord access at Capcom and above, so pop into Discord and say hey. Todd Goodrich, thank you for the support.
You can also say more things than hey, but...
Wow. Todd says, for the Ryan Car Insurance Fund. Ryan doesn't... what's the furthest you've ever driven, Ryan? Like 5 miles?
I drove to the UK meetup in Leicester, which is approximately 100 miles, like just over 100 miles. So
That's not even a 2-hour drive.
No, it was like 2.5 hours, nearly 3 hours. We don't have nice interstates, Jack. You know, this was single carriageway, single lane, stuck behind a tractor because they won't pull over. You know, this was painful.
I've been in your car while we're driving, and I got dizzy.
Were you nervous about the meetup and the drive? Is that why you forgot the lanyards? Is that how that worked out? Cool. Glowkim, thank you for the support. They say, do you guys think there will be a large space station in the future acting as a depot for space missions, construction, and refueling? Absolutely. That's one of the sorts of things that Starship is going to enable is large-scale construction on orbit, and then once you can build a large thing in orbit, then you can build other things in orbit. Because all of our rockets to date have been constrained by the need to handle the Earth's atmosphere. And really, if you're talking about like a true Starship or a true space vehicle that's meant to go to other planets or even beyond, at that point, you need to start building things in orbit. You need to start mining asteroids, using the resources up there rather than launching every little bit and piece from Earth. So, yeah.
I mean, we already know that there's going to be refueling stations in orbit, right? Because for Artemis, they're going to be launching that first. Then they refuel the station, and then they launch the HLS, and then the HLS refuels from the station, and then it goes out to the moon. So we know that's at least something confirmed that it's actually going to happen. And obviously, that's something that they can then evolve from in the future.
Oh God, why is there a kilt command? Chat, stop it. Stop it. Ryan, go forget more lanyards.
Brilliant. I didn't forget them. I've still got them with me. I just,
Oh God, chat. No, chat, stop it. No. What have I done? I'm sorry, moderators. I'm sorry, Nightbot.
Oh, Nightbot is just going crazy right now.
Oh no.
We do not endorse this command. I will be on Jack's side here. We do not endorse this command.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, stop it. I think chat is moving faster than when we ask people where they're watching from. This might be the fastest I've seen chat move. Stop it. How many times do you need Nightbot to respond with the kilt command?
Not enough.
If this keeps up, I'm going to kilt myself.
That's what we all want.
Oh, man. Well, is it down? It looks pretty down. Still not perfectly aligned, but looks pretty down. What do we think? Can we get a down poll?
I guess.
People are too busy spamming kilt rather than spamming.
Yeah, no, you guys can stop that like at any point. That's fine. Like you don't have to feel like you have to do that. It's fine. So
you can keep doing that on SPL while you watch this for it to be settled.
Actually, no, not SBL. We're gonna throw everybody over to the most recent daily video, which came out this morning. Well, it's about to come out, I guess, this afternoon. Here in just a few minutes, we'll do a premiere. We'll hang out and chat with y'all and watch it along with you. Oh God, it looks like there's some kind of bug attacking this poor camera. Either way, no, it was not. Either way, we have the Flight 5 vehicle fully stacked at the pad on a beautiful, sunny Saturday afternoon. Fantastic. This is another step on the road to Flight 5. So I think we're all feeling good about it, right? Ryan, you feeling good about this?
Yeah, I'm feeling very good.
Alex, you feeling good? Say yes, and then we'll move on.
Yes.
All right, well, let's all jump over and watch the most recent daily video. And yeah, we will keep our eyes on the prize here on Starbase Live as well. I'm Jack. Thanks for watching. Ryan, thank you for being on. Alex, thank you for being on as well. And Jay, thank you for operating the stream. Let's go watch this video. It's premiering right now.
And here we go.
We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, Atlantic.
Water towers, fly! Yes! Echo down to nominal.
Flighting outside of lead off. Saying SPD off. Off.
It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage!
What is this?
Put that in the big bag, you know.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You read? We don't need any more of these.